Yo, I just wanted to let y'all know this is more of a listening kind of video. You could just throw this on in the background and leave it on to listen to it. I mean, I will mention some things that'll come up on screen, but it's only if you really want to look over and have a visual of it. Other than that, please do enjoy the video, and to any mothers, including my own watching this, have a happy Mother's Day. Yo, it's time to talk. And today we're going to be doing a special kind of video. This is a Mother's Day special. So what better way to celebrate Mother's Day than to share some personal memories of gaming and the one person that brought me into this world and genuinely means a lot to me. Let's talk about the times I've seen my mom play video games and the things I felt, and looking back on it, how I remember it, and just those times. So yeah, we're going way back. We're going back to the 2000s, folks. These happened across the length of my childhood, so take how I remember this with a grain of salt. I am 28 years old and it's been a long time, but I still remember these days vividly and clearly. So we're talking about the days when I had a GBA, a DS, a CRT TV, going to school, the big ass silver Sony CRT in the living room, this one right here on screen. I'm talking the old days, folks. So let's roll, Kato, and let your mind wander. So let me preface this by saying that my earliest memory of seeing my mom with a video game, I think I was about 3. So that would be what, 1999? And I don't even remember why she had it or what the reason was. But what I clearly remember was waiting for my mom to come home. I saw her open the door. We were in my great-grandmother's apartment. She lived a floor below us. I was in that apartment playing with some toys. I heard my mom come in, heard her voice, said hi, she was happy to see me, and I remember seeing 2 things in her hands. A CD case with a beautiful woman on it. I knew that was music because, I recognized what CD cases were. I was told not to touch them, but I remember that. And then I remember seeing this yellow cartridge in her hand. That is the earliest memory I have of seeing a video game in someone's hand not being played or being touched. It was just in a way of oh, I'm gonna go put this in the console. I remember that. And anytime I try to remember the moments surrounded by that, I can't. I just remember that day being happy to see my mom, seeing the CD case, and the game cartridge. And it lives in my head rent free. Another time that I can pin before we get into the core story of this segment here, because it'll be a shorter segment when we get to the game, is of course when my sisters had Game Boy Colors. Granted, they aren't sisters. I realistically am an only child. I'm the only kid my mom gave birth to, as far as I know, and they're my cousins, but we were around each other so much that they are my sisters to me. Fuck with my sisters, you fuck with me. Fuck with me, you fuck with my sisters. Type shit. And I just remember not really having one. I was playing with toys. I don't remember being bothered. I don't remember what my emotions were back then. But I remember my mom then left the house, told somebody to watch us. I think it was my grandfather. I could be mistaken. Again, I don't remember. It's I was 3. So a lot of things that aren't key were very, very, very fucking hazy. I'm 28. That shit is so fucking fuzzy to me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But I remember my mom coming back with something in her hand, and she gave it to me and told me to open it. And it was a purple translucent Game Boy Color with Pokemon Puzzle League. I was absolutely dog shit at that game. Terrible. But I had fun with it because it was something to do with my sisters. And I thought that was really, really fucking cool. My sisters had that. I had one. We were chilling. We were cool. Let's now fast forward way past that in the events of the next 2 segments to when the Nintendo Wii was out. It was a hot summer. I'm talking smoldering. It felt like it was on fire, but it was one of those really, really nice afternoons early in the summer before I would go down to the south to spend time with my aunt, my cousins and stuff. I remember the day clear because I had wanted to just go outside. So I asked my mom, hey, can I go outside? I want to go ride my scooter. She said, all right, cool. I remember her watching Golden Girls, that shit. I'm going to tell you now, I was a child, but I completely understood that Golden Girls was fucking hilarious. And I will have no one take this shit away from me. This shit is gold to me.
Ma, damn is not a word. You made it up.
It's a word.
Fine. Use it in a sentence.
You're no good at this damn game.
See what I'm talking about? Hilarious. I can't explain it. Moving on. Now, you heard me say scooter. Yeah, I hopped on a Razor scooter and lapped essentially the entire block. Now, that doesn't really sound like much, but our apartment building was on an incline, and I had to go up the hill, around to the other building connected to our building, back down, and then back up. Mind you, I have to preface that this incline was steep as hell, and if I did not learn the braking techniques that Takumi Fujiwara did on the Akina Pass to hit drifts, I was going to hit an early respawn point in a completely different location in the world. I wouldn't be here right now. So, I learned tech early at a young age. But lapping the block and stuff, having a great time, I then come back home to see friends of the family hanging over, just friends of my mom, like one of my uncles or anything, was like people who knew my mom who hung out in the building, and she let them come over and hang out. I went to the fridge, got the last of the Sprite that was in the fridge. I wrote my name on it and everything, saying like, this is mine, don't fucking touch this. I grabbed that, grabbed a bag of Dipsy Doodles when they looked like this, when, I can genuinely say Dipsy Doodles were peak when they fucking looked like this, and I will take no arguments. This is how it was back then, and I miss it every day. I grabbed those, went in my room, and then I saw the Wii wasn't in there. And I'm thinking, okay, if the Nintendo Wii isn't in the room, and it's not in the living room, that can only mean Mom has it. So I go see what Mom's up to, and I see she just is looking for batteries. She then looks at me and says, "Boy, did you take the batteries out of the remote?" I try to lie and say no, and then she just kind of looks at me like, "You did, didn't you?" I did. I needed the batteries in the Wii remote, I'm gonna be real, so she swapped them out, and I decided to sit down with her. I asked, "Can I watch?" She was like, "Sure." And Mom opened up Super Mario Bros. 3. This is a game we didn't have on the NES that we had in the house initially. My first console was a Super Nintendo, and then I had access to an NES, and then I got the next console that I could have from Nintendo at the time, like for home consoles, which was a Nintendo 64. Mom had she'd opened like Super Mario Bros. 3, and I had never seen that before. I had only in passing, prior to getting a Wii, played Super Mario Bros. 1 and Super Mario World, aka, Peak Mario. Different conversation for a different day. She then decided to play through the game, and normally when I watched Mom play Super Mario Bros. 3, like at the time, it was she played a game by the book, go through the stages, not too fast, but not too slow. This time, I don't know what the hell happened, what was going through this woman's mind. It's like she done unlocked the first recorded human instance of Ultra Instinct or some shit. She was off. We're talking blitz through stage 1 and 2 of World 1, and then got to stage 3 and used a skip I had never seen in my life. Granted, it was like later in the 2000s, so cut me some fucking slack here. But nah, I had never seen this shit until today. She had used a skip going to clip through like a panel in a stage, falling into the background, and then running all the way to the end, and she got the flute that takes you to the world select screen, and I was sitting there baffled. I'm like, where the hell was this when I was playing? Like, I tried to play that game on and off, but I was just like, I was more of like a Sonic and Mega Man platformer kind of kid. Like, I played the faster paced, fight for your life kind of deals. That's much fight for your life as you could get out of Sonic and Mega Man realistically. But those were what I played. So seeing her do that, it was like a martial artist breaking down the essence of someone's fighting style, the way they contract their muscles, the way they move, the way they breathe, subtle things like eye twitches and shit. She was doing that with a video game, and it was so impressive. And just going from World 4 forward, I don't have any more footage of World 4 forward because I'm ass at this game, and that's her game. My game is Super Mario World. That's my shit. I can run through that, no problem. But 3, that's her Mario game next to Super Mario Bros. 64. Moving on. She ran through the entire game effortlessly. She died a couple of times. I heard a fuck or a bitch here and there, but she was cooking. She was running through the game, no problem. And then she got to the end of the game, popped a Hammer Bros suit off Bowser in like 4 hammers. Well, not 3 or 4, more like she threw them at him, said, "Oh shit, I forgot about that," and then she just let him kill himself. I mean, uninstall his System 32, exit God's Minecraft server, you know, type shit. Can't really say that other thing because of YouTube, but well, whatever. Just avoiding that. She did that, and I just kind of sat there, mind boggled. I think my sprite had gone flat in that time because I was just locked. Watching my mom cook in that moment was so crazy, and it's just weird to think that like that happened after I had got home from like riding the Ankle Destroyer 9 billion around the block, only to come home to see she was done watching Golden Girls and decided, I'm gonna tear this game a new one. And she teared that game a new one indeed, and I loved every second of watching that. But going from watching her absolutely demolish the entirety of a platformer in just a short amount of time, let's talk about the time we got home from Dollar Tree and she was bored and I was bored, and she decided to sit down and play some good old Crash Bandicoot. So moving on to Crash Bandicoot, I had seen my mom play this game like multiple times. It was Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. I had literally seen her play and beat this game multiple times, but the one thing I had never seen up until this point in time was her do the entirety of World 1. Like, that entire first stage, nah, I hadn't seen her do the entirety of that, but you know what I did see her do a lot? Cold Hard Crash. Yo, fuck Cold Hard Crash. Fuck this stage. My lineage, my homies, and everyone else who likes Crash Bandicoot 2 hates Cold Hard Crash. I actually don't know if a lot of people hate Cold Hard Crash like me and my mom do, but like, you know, that's just me and her. Sound off in the comments if you do. If you don't like Cold Hard Crash, let me know. Let's see, maybe we could like trauma bond over fucking completing this shit. Anyways, going through Crash Bandicoot 2 multiple times, I had seen and heard so many like fucked up jokes around my mom at the time, and I think one that sticks out in my head is the time my uncle had come over and he had brought his Xbox 360, but my mom's at the time boyfriend wasn't around to play like Halo 3, so like he waited for him to come over, and at the time she was playing Crash Bandicoot, and she said the exact words of like an orange crackhead, and my uncle choked on his vitamin water and like trying to laugh. He was sitting in like the computer chair. He was he almost just like choked out in the chair. And he was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And I like went to repeat it, and my mom just shot me this look of like, "Do not." Now, you know, being a black kid, if your mama says don't, the best and smartest thing to do is not. And you know, sources cited, you know, I was a black kid. Fuck you all. I'm a black adult now, and I still look back on that like, man, if I had done that, I would have got my ass beat. But moving on from there, this time when she had played Crash 2 was a day when we were out and about looking for something she needed for like work stuff at the time. We had gone around town with like some friends of hers, like some friends of family. I think like my babysitter, one of my babysitters was around too, and we were just like back and forth, a lot of back and forth. It was fucking mind-numbing and asinine. I had ended up at least getting a Dragon Ball Z toy out of it. Yeah, I remember the Dragon Ball Z toys that like you built like either Shenron or Purunga, like using like different bases and shit. I got that. I got one of those, and she had gotten the stuff she needed for work, but she was so exhausted by the end of it that she was just like, I don't want to fucking do anything. So she put the stuff in her room when we got home, and I sat down with her in the living room. I was playing with my toy. I kept going back and forth getting toys and stuff until she told me to stop. Either sit your ass down or go in your room and play. I sat down because I wanted to be out in the living room with everyone else. I didn't want to be by myself, just, you know, be around people. And so I knew it was going to be a good day when I saw she had decided to, A, like, you know, order pizza, and B, she went for the CD case in the cabinet underneath the big ass TV. And she had grabbed the CD case, she started flipping through it, and she grabbed Crash Bandicoot 2, the PlayStation 2 controller. It was a wired one. It was I think it was either like the Mad Catz one. No. It was definitely a regular one. It was a regular one. I'm remembering now. It was a regular one. And she swapped the 64-bit memory card from the first slot to slot 2, and she put in the PS1 memory card. She sat back down on the couch. I locked in, seeing, oh, mommy's playing video games. It's time to go. She's playing, and she decides to go through the entirety of World 1. She's, clearing through it, getting all the gems she can, and of course, every crystal. And on that day, she had taught me how to get one of the colored gems from World 1, in which you don't break any boxes in the first stage. And mind you, this was contradictory knowledge, because prior to this, she had told me how to get, like, the silver gems. I asked her, hey, how do you get those? She was like, oh, you gotta break all the boxes in the stage. It's hard, but, like, you can do it if you find all of them. And so she did that for stage 1. She went back, got the box gem and the crystal, and then she decided to get the color gem. She went back and touched no boxes. That includes the Aku Aku mask. But traditionally, between me and her, we don't call it that. We call it by the sound he makes, which is the Bubaka mask. That's something like, that's a me and her thing. We don't call it an Aku Aku mask. We call it the Bubaka mask, and she had gotten it to, like, stage, like, 2, I think. Like, she got, like, the like, orange and yellow one, where, like, he has, like, you can take 2 hits with it. And she got it to that, and then she got to, like, the ice stage of, like, the first world. I think it was just Snow Go. And she got a 3rd box, and I had never seen her do that. So I'm sitting like, wait, you can do that? I was like, I was, already blown away by the fact that she had not broken any boxes in the first stage and gotten the green gem. She then got the fucking, invincibility mode for it. And that was the first time I heard the track, that'll be, he got that, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I'm blown away. Well, like, my babysitter, like, she's, like, from family. I'd call her, like, a big sister to me. She was, like, using the computer, and she was like, damn, girl, you know this game like that? And she was like, this is my shit. What, you expect me to not? And I'm sitting there just, like, blown away and shit. And then Mom, like, inadvertently, like, I don't know if she did this, like, by command or something, but, like, she would take it off, and the mask came off immediately, and it was, like, wizardry at foot. It was, like, actual magic to me, because she did that shit instantly. I'm like, what the? Like, I didn't say, what the fuck? But, like, looking back, what the fuck? How did you do that? And it was crazy work to just see it happen instantly. Bam! Mask comes off, and she's clearing through all the stages. And, like, I think the only one she really struggled with was, Hang 10. Like, where you gotta use, like, the jet board. Personally, she didn't like it, and I'm kind of, like, iffy on it, too. Like, it's whatever for, like, control-wise, stage-wise. It don't bother me too much. But, like, I just remember watching all that happen, and then for the first time, I actually got to see the World 1 boss. I knew you could go up and down between stages and stuff, but, like, I'd never actually seen her beat the World 1 boss. So, to my, like, baffling dismay and shock, I watched her do that, and I got to see for the first time Ripper Roo. And man, oh man, when I saw Ripper Roo for the first time, it was not a pleasant experience. I jumped out of my seat, and she cackled at me like him. She was doing fucking Ripper Roo's last year, like, it's just a kangaroo. I'm like, that's not a normal kangaroo, because, like, I was going off, like, seeing, like, Kangaroo Jack and, like, watching Nat Geo and Animal Planet, like, with my grandfather, her dad. So, like, I'm thinking, that's not a normal kangaroo. No, that's not normal. And then the fight starts, and she kept laughing, and then she just kind of, like, nah, it's just a normal kangaroo. And I'm noticing this motherfucker is bouncing around creating TNT panels that did not count from 3. These shits counted from 6, and in my head, that was a lot scarier than a TNT panel that counted from fucking 3. I don't know why. Like, bro, it was some next level shit to me. It was just like, what the hell? Oh, no, get this shit away from me. And she kind of just, like, no damage. It's the first boss in the game. But, again, watching somebody not take damage is crazy. I still think, like, the anxiety attack I had seeing the fucking nitro crates, it was like, no, don't touch those. And, like, she did that, no problem. She was like, told you it was easy, kiddo. You just gotta, like, be patient. Stop moving. And, like, I'm like, wait, really? It's that easy? Huh. Okay. And from there, I think, like, for, like, next couple of months, like, what we do is, like, we would try to have, like, a score attack a little bit, like, see who could beat stages, or, like, time attack, I guess, like, see who could beat stages, like, the fastest. it was a nice back and forth thing to do between me and her, just because like wanted to see how much I could improve. And at the time, I was really bad at it. Again, I was much better at other games at the time, and now I can say I'm on par with how she used to be doing things back then. It was like night and day. It was crazy, but like it was a really fun time to just bear witness to all that and actually like take it in. And looking back, it's still like a top tier memory. But let's go from a top tier memory at a later point, going back to the number one memory I have, and a story about a green dinosaur and an unforgettable moment seeing my mom play a video game in front of me for the very first time. Here is the last story. This one is very important to me because I want to preface this by saying when I went to do the recording for the gameplay section of this, I got hit by so much emotion that like I started crying like during the recording session. It was really hard, and it's not for bad reasons. It's because like the memory that is tied to this game is one of the strongest memories I have, and it's a constant reminder that my love for what I do now comes from the person who had believed in me for my entire life and still does to this day, and believes that my love and passion for gaming and things revolving around it are more than enough to let me know that I can do anything I put my mind to. And every time I think about this, it always makes me feel a lot better, and it's very important to me. So let's go to, I want to say 2002, was it? It was either 2002 or 2001, one of those years. I was extremely young at the time. I want to say like it was just a time of just being a small child, and it was me and my mom in the house, and I was bored, hungry, and I think kind of tired. I didn't know what to do, and I was just trying to just stave off boredom, throwing toys across the floor, like they were fucking like cars or no, it was Hot Wheels. Yeah, I was playing with Hot Wheels back then. Just throwing back across the living room. And she goes, "Hey kiddo, you want to see something cool?" I'm thinking, what else could my mother show me that's so cool that isn't just Hot Wheels running across the floor? I was a very like imaginative child. To me, them cars were hitting the sickest turns and the hottest curves. You couldn't tell me shit. But I said, okay, sure. I looked down at the television cabinet, looked at the big ass CRT, the Sony one, and down there I saw the SNES that I normally get to play with, copy of Super Mario World, and I forget what else I had with it. I think I had I think it was like Pocky and Rocky and Joe and Mac. Yeah, it was Pocky and Rocky, Joe and Mac, and Super Mario World. And this is before a friend of hers had gotten me Chrono Trigger because I like Dragon Ball Z. It was before that. She looked at me and said, "You want to see the games I like to play?" And I'm like, "But you're an adult. You don't play games." She was like, "No, I play games. Your mama likes games, kiddo." And so I indulged in it. I humored her. I was like, "There's no way mom plays video games. That can't be real. That's not true." And so I sat down on the floor, got very like crisscross applesauce like we did at school back then. It was very just attentive moment of just, I gotta pay attention to see what mom's doing. And she pulls out the Nintendo 64, translucent N64 controller, was purple. And probably the origin of why I like purple is my favorite color of all time now. And she pulled that controller out, and I watched her plug in the like the cartridge. I couldn't tell what it was at first because I wasn't really looking at that. I was watching the TV. But I looked at the controller she grabbed and I said, "Why don't you use the gray one?" She was like, "I don't think it works, so I'm not touching it." I went, "Okay." And she turned on the N64 before sitting back down on the couch behind me. And the music that came on, like, it was different from what I felt. It was the utmost of comfort. This shit blew me away in more ways than one. And even then, I don't think Yoshi's Story is like the highest form of like video game music, but it is still very like well composed and incredible to me to this day, because a lot of the music in the OST plays around the leitmotif of the core theme. But I watched her turn it on, and the first thing I hear is the Nintendo using the Yoshi voice, and I was like, wait, that's Yoshi. And so I'm like already like very, wait a minute, what's going on? And I see the title screen come up, and like she lets the intro piece rock so I can learn. She's like, read so you can see what the game's about. And I come to discover that the game is essentially like Yoshi's Island. You gotta go stop Bowser from doing bad things to the island of Yoshi's, and instead of kidnapping Mario this time, he kidnapped the Yoshis, like the other Yoshis, leaving like a small sect of them together. And so I was already hooked in. I'm like, oh, well, you gotta stop him. And so I'm watching my mom do this, you know, go through the stage, aiming eggs like perfectly and shit. And she's going through like the first stage, like it's probably on screen now. She's going through the first stage and shit. I'm just kind of looking at this like, wow, she's really good. Like, mommy's really good at video games. I didn't know mommy could be good at video games. Like, it was weird because like at the time, like I had only played the PS1 that was left in the house, and looking back on it, I think that was her PS1, which like ties into like my later memories of me unlocking like, you know, segmented pieces going, oh shit, that actually does belong to her. Fuck. Because I had played Road Rash on the PS1 and I had messed around with like the other games in the house. So like I didn't realize that that was supposed to be her stuff. I didn't know those games were hers. I just didn't touch them because I didn't want to ask and get told no. I didn't get like being told no as a kid, so I figured like the tech to not being told no was don't touch. And then I started touching shit anyways. Like, y'all really, were y'all a kid who just sometimes you just touch shit? Like, being an adult now, that's probably how my kids are gonna be. Just they figure out the tech of, oh yeah, don't touch anything if you don't want to be told no, but I want to touch it anyways. And that was me. So like, I'm watching her play through the game, and like she gets through the first 4 stages of the game, and she beats the first world, and the song starts playing, and it's a very like melodic, like the end, like it starts doing that, and I hear my mom singing along to it, and that's what clued me into my mom really enjoying playing stuff like this, because to her, Yoshi's Story is a comfort game unlike any other, and to me it is also very similar. Like, granted, my definitive comfort game nowadays is Tetris. Like, I will always boot up Tetris to play for comfort, just to relax my brain, to think, you know, meditate and all that shit. But I think like this game might be like literally head to head with it. It's that close. So I'm watching her play it, and she's like singing along with it, and I'm like, I want to watch you play more, because she asked me, hey, do you want to play something? I'm like, no, I want to watch you play. And so I'm watching her play through the entire game, and she goes through all the different stages and stuff, and it is like it's mind-boggling to me how like pretty this game looked. It was the first time I could really say a video game looked pretty, because like I didn't know how to describe it. Like, even looking back at it now, the colors, the shape languages of stages, the enemy design, like a lot of it was just like, it's very standout and different from other platformers. The digitized like 3D like sprite for Yoshi they use in game still animates incredibly well to this very day. I think it is like a hallmark of like how to do some shit like that with very simplistic shapes. It's very, very clean. Like, just look at it in the background, it's really good. And so like I'm watching mom play through this game, and it's like it was a great moment, because like I'm like, oh, get the shotgun, like I'm like, you know, like kind of like backseating her a little bit, but also playing alongside her, like, if that makes any sense. It's kind of what I was doing. It was funny. But like she's like following my advice, and she's like, oh, here's how you do this. That's how you can like, you like do a ground pound, you jump, like you jump and then you press down and B. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And like it was really nice to watch her play through that. And I think like the Bowser's Castle was like scary to me as a kid, because like just the sharp objects, the darker tone of everything, it was different from like the rest of the game. So like I'm watching her go through this stage, and she's not scared at all. She's not bothered. And it's like, that tells me everything about like how my mom is just like a different level of bravery and shit. She can handle a lot of things. She can do anything. And so like just watching her, it was truly like the most eye-opening experience. And then like after that, when she beat the game and we watched the credits roll properly, mom looked at me like, you want to get Chinese food? I'm like, yes. And I, being a kid, and I like chicken and french fries. I got chicken wings and french fries. And she's like, when are you ever going to actually eat some Chinese food? And like, but it comes to the Chinese restaurant. She's like, you're going to turn into a chicken wing one day, right? And I don't know. I guess it's like one of the very few times my mom was wrong, because I am a full grown adult and not a chicken wing. But she's been right about more things in my life than I have been. So, what? That's 1 to 485, I guess? I don't fucking know. But like, watching her play the game and like the joy and like her mimicking the Yoshi sounds even when like you complete stages and shit, like when you get all the fruits and stuff, and like her going Yoshi sorry was like, it was really great. And like, it's something really strong to me even to this day. Like, and when I got a little bit older, like just a little bit older, when she would play the game again for fun, instead of going like she like as a joke to make me laugh. Because I remember this day clearly, a teacher had said something really fucked up to me as a kid in like second grade. And like, she was playing the game and she was watching, just seeing how upset I was. And she was playing Yoshi's Story, and instead of going, she goes, the asshole. She's the asshole. And I started dying of laughter because it was so left field, and I was a child. And, cussing, profanity is hilarious to a kid. So, like, seeing my mom do that to make me laugh, it was the funniest shit I had ever heard in my life. And then, on that day, she did that, and we got Chinese food again, just like the first time. And we just kind of hung out, watched Law & Order, Golden Girls. I think Designing Women was still on TV at the time. I don't remember. I think we watched something else instead. I think it was Scooby-Doo and, like, Courage instead. But yeah, like, we watched a lot of TV together, and it was great. But, like, when I think of, like, good times with my mom, I don't just think of, like, all the other stuff we do. I think about the times we spent hanging out when she would play Yoshi's Story and the really good times from that. And it's always a great memory. Granted, me and my mom don't always have the greatest memories, but I feel like the good memories are much stronger than the bad, because if there's something I can say is that me and her are very similar, but we're still different in a lot of ways. Like, she's similar but different. And I view my mom in this light of, like, I understand where she comes from, like, being a single parent and stuff now. Like, I kind of get it. So, like, I view my mom in this light of, like, she's kind of like this fusion of Tomoko Higashikata, Storm from the X-Men, and Diana Themyscira from the DCAU version of Justice League specifically. Well, like, she carries a lot of traits similar to them, and the thing that pulls that all together is an unwavering compassion, intelligence, and genuine good person who doesn't take any shit nature. Like, that's just the kind of person she is. And to me, when I hear Wonder Woman, I think of her first. That's just who she is to me. My mother is Wonder Woman, always has been, always will be. Like, that woman has, like, literally taken days off work because I was sick. And looking back, I'm like, I could have just stayed at grandma's house, but I'm really appreciative of the fact she did that. And through all that, I can say, thank you, Mom. And happy Mother's Day. You made me the person I am today, and without that, without anything really, not just these memories, I wouldn't be who I am, and I'm very, very, very thankful for that. And to anybody watching this, let me know, like, a really good memory with your mom. A really, like, good memory of you and your mom hanging out. And just sound off on the comments below. And to any mothers who happen to come across this, happy Mother's Day. And I hope the bond between you and your child stays ever strong and ever tight. I've been Wandering Sosuke. Do a like, comment, and subscribe. Helps feed the algorithm more in me, so you can see more of these videos. And above all else, I want y'all to be easy, take care, have yourselves a damn good one, and of course, as always, stay gold. Jana.